Oh my gosh. Blacktop Wasteland is it gets picked up. Okay, I don't think I've ever told you the story, and I'm gonna try to. I'm long with it, so I'm gonna try to
No, take
shorten
it.
it.
No,
I'll
tell
tell
me the
you.
story, man. I want to hear the
Okay.
whole thing.
The way Blacktop Wasteland actually started, this because I have a really good agent, and the way I met him, his name is Josh Gessler, and the way I met him in 2018, Eric Pruitt, my buddy, your friend of mine, and a great writer and filmmaker and artist in his own right, um, he was at an event called BoucherCon. It's this big mystery crime fiction. It's a world event. You see people from all over the world there, and they move it around, or they did in the before times. And this was in St. Petersburg, Florida. And My Darkest Prayer was coming out in January of 2019, and so this is in like October of 2018. I was working with a small company called Intrigue Publishing, really great people, but it's independent press. They don't have the money to send me to Florida. So I saved my money for like 6 months and went to Florida. And so while I'm down there, Eric gets me on this panel about Southern crime fiction. He said, I think you'd be a great addition. And I was kind of self deprecatingly saying, hey, I don't even have a book out yet, man. He said, no, but you're a great writer. You need to be on this panel. So it's me and a guy named Ace Atkins, who's famous for writing his
Oh
own
yeah.
series book, but he also for the Robert Parker stuff. Steph Post, who was a writer on the come up. She's an incredible writer. I hope more people see her work. And Alice, a girl who just wrote a Star Wars tie-in, but he's
Yeah, yeah,
also a
yeah.
crime fiction writer. And Eric Pruitt, who's been award-nominated author and filmmaker, and me, who wrote some short stories. And so we're on this panel, but it was one of the best panels. And now I've done a bunch of these things, and in person and on Zoom. But it was one of the best. It literally was the best panel I've ever been on. It was so much fun, and we all talked about our Southern bona fides. And Steph Post, I'm Southern because I got chased by a pig, and I was like, I'm Southern because I got caught drinking moonshine. So my granddaddy made me drink the whole jar, and I got sick. And so, anyway, at the end of it, and you've experienced this, I'm sure. We had somebody stand up, and we were talking about everything in Southern fiction: crime, race, poverty, religion. We had a lady stand up, and she said, "I don't have a question, I have a comment." And I know now it's like, buckle up, because here we
Oh,
go. And so she says, basically, I know that the antebellum period of time in the South was bad for some people, but I miss those times, and I feel like we as white Americans are being pushed aside, and so on and
oh
so
my
forth. And
God.
you'd hear a pin drop in that room. And so Eric, who's got a little bit of a devil in him, he turns to me, he's like, "You want to take that question, Sean?" I was like, "I would love to take it." And so I was very sardonic with the lady. I said, "Look, I know it's difficult. You feel like you're being pushed aside, but my people have been degraded and distressed for 400 years. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to teach you how to be a minority. We're going to learn what to do when cops pull you over for nothing." I said, "You're going to learn how to talk to a security guard who follows you around the store, assuming you don't have enough money." I said, "Me and you, we're going to get through this together." And she got very upset and left. Everybody laughed, and it kind of went out of the room. And afterwards, Josh Gessler comes up to me. He taps him on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, man, I like what you're talking about. Do you have anything you're working on?" And what I was working on was Blacktop Wasteland. So fast forward, it gets sold, and he sold it like, in I think it was 4 months. And so when we sold it to Flatiron Books, which a subsidiary of Macmillan, Josh was like, "Hey, would you mind if I made some inquiries about whether or not somebody would want to option this for a movie?" He said, "Because it's very cinematic, and I write cinematically
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
mind." Yeah, and so he was like, "It's very cinematic. I think it'd make a great movie." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, man." I was like, I just didn't think anything would come of it." And so, like, within a year, I was like, it was 6 months later, I get a call from Josh. He's like, "Hey, so there's a company called Picture Start, and they're very interested in the book. Would you have time to talk to them on a conference call?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right, sure." Still not, I'm Southern, so I don't think nothing's gonna happen. And so I get on there, and they're talking about, "Hey, we want to make this movie. We want a 5 year option on this film." And again, I still just didn't believe it because it's like, all right, 5 year
Yeah.
option, it'll probably never get made, whatever. I know a lot of writers who's been optioned, and I don't mean to
Right,
be
right,
pessimistic, but you can't get your hopes up about that.
right. There's
So
more
then,
options than movies.
exactly. So then, this is all 2019. So
Yeah.
nothing happens, nothing happens. Then, like right before the pandemic hit, Josh was like, "Hey, they made us an offer. I think we should take it." I'm like, "All right." So they optioned it, and that process takes a while to get everything straight. And not, again, I'm Southern and rural Baptist by the grace of God. I don't talk about money, but I did receive a check about 2 months ago for the first year of the option. It wasn't huge, it was nice. It's not like, we're not talking, as Stephen King money, but it was
Right.
nice. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can actually like buy some groceries this week. And so I'm still not thinking anything about it. I'm still thinking, okay, it's option, whatever. The guy, the screenwriter who's been announced for the movie, he contacted me about a week ago, and he said, "Hey, I don't know, we don't know each other." He contacted me on Twitter. He DM'd me. He said, "We don't know each other, but I think we're going to be working together." And I'm like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, just give me a heads up." I'm like, "All right." Still didn't think nothing. Then yesterday, I'm eating a sub from Subway, and my phone starts jumping off the. I mean, it's literally vibrating off my desk, and my desk is a card table, so and it's literally vibrating off my desk, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And I'm getting all these text messages from people, and I'm getting tagged in all these Twitter responses. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" So I go on Twitter, and then I see there's an article from Variety that the gentleman who wrote or co-wrote the movie Mudbound, a great Southern drama that's set in the 30s, has been tasked to adapt Blacktop Wasteland for the screen, and it's going to be a conjunction production between Picture Start, the folks who bought the option, and the musician John Legend and his film production company, Getting Lifted Productions, and he's starting to write the screenplay. We got a Zoom call. We're going to try to arrange a Zoom call pretty soon to talk about some things, and he's getting right to work on it. And it just, I went to sleep last night. I had a headache last night because it was just so crazy.
Yeah.
It's just so insane. And so many people were so nice and have been so complimentary. And, it's just, you know, I spoke about it earlier. I recently lost one of my uncles. We were very close. And one of my favorite childhood memories is sitting in the house on a summer evening. We didn't have air conditioning. We had a big green metal death fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like 3 minutes of murder. And there's this huge fan. It sounds like a motorcycle engine. And that be in the window. And we used to sit on my grandma has big green suede couch, huge couch. We would sit on the couch, it'd be me, my uncle, and my grandfather. And we'd watch the CBS Saturday Night Movie. And they always had like a rural redneck crime movie like Gator or White Lightning or Fox Called Bertha or something like that, or Big Bad Mama. And my uncle and my granddad loved those movies, so consequently I grew to love those movies. And it's kind of poignant that and those movies inspired a lot of my writing.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of poignant that I was telling a friend of mine, I said, "Man, I wish, because my uncle loved Burt Reynolds and he loved Ned Beatty, and he was just a huge fan of that genre, that style of film."
Hmm.
And I said, "Man, I wish." And his nickname was Sonny Boy, and I said, "Man, I wish Sonny Boy was still here to see this." And a friend of mine said, "He sees it. He sees it."
Yeah.
That gives you solace a little bit. But yeah, it's ironic that they came out. But as far as how it feels, I still don't believe it. I still can't believe it. As you was talking about the South, I'm a poor boy from the lowlands of Virginia. 50 miles from the nearest big city. I grew up, climbing magnolia trees and
Hmm.
catching crawdads, and getting some older folks to buy me some MD 2020 so I could go to a field party. And I'm a college dropout.
Yeah.
And I just, you talk about, the podcast is called Matters of Faith, and like I said again, whatever you call it, someone is looking out for me. Something's looking out for me.